In this video, we'll talk about horizontal translations of periodic functions. So you'll remember from the definition of a periodic function that a periodic function is one where if you input a number and then you input that same number by adding a certain amount, you would get the same output. So you can see these are different inputs. They differ by an amount of p, and it gives the same output. And that p that they differ by is the period of the function. So you can see if you just look at the red graph, if you input 0 or if you input 2 pi, you would get the same answer. So that what makes it a periodic function. Because of the periodic nature of these functions, there are always multiple translations. So if you're trying to write a translation here for g of x, so g of x is a horizontal, it's clearly that is a horizontal translation of f of x. The dilemma here is that you could translate f of x pi over 3 units to the right. So f of x minus pi over 3. What this says is if I want the value of g, so I'm here, I want to know the output of g, I need to look at the output of f, that is pi over 3 units behind. So remember, g, looking at it from this sense, from g shifting over here, it's saying that I was behind by pi over 3, which is why my graph appears later to the right on the graph. So that's one option. However, that is not the only option. So I could have also taken this point here and shifted it all the way back to this point here, and they would have laid on top of each other as well. So this would be a horizontal translation of 5 pi over 3 units to the right. So this would mean that if I shift this point here back to this point here, this would mean the blue graph has a head start. It came earlier. That's why it's back here to the left. So when I add 5 pi over 3 to give it a head start, it begins all the way back here. I could keep going. I could do this. I don't have any more space on the graph. You can't see, but there's going to be more points to the left. I could also keep going to the right. I could slide this piece right here all the way over to 7 pi over 3 to the right. G of x equals f of x minus 7 pi over 3. So there are infinitely many translations, always separated by the period, but there are going to be many different translations that you could write for a horizontal translation when it's a periodic function because of the periodic nature. So you could say this point corresponds to this point, but that's not always the only answer.